Welcome to If These Balls Could Talk, where each of us brings forth 5 topics to discuss. This is Mark with John and Pete and our special guest, Melanie Campion. Did I pronounce that last name right?
Yeah, Campion, but yeah.
Campion.
It's so
Campion.
close to mine.
I make
so
it sound.
cool.
I make it sound so more sophisticated with Campion.
Yes, very exotic.
Anyway, welcome
Melanie
to
is
the
very
podcast, Mel.
exotic.
Welcome to the podcast, Mel.
Thank you, guys.
All right, how's everyone been? John, let's start with you.
I really miss my intros, I gotta tell you.
You missed the intros?
I do. I think I like the old way better.
I can only do so many of those creative things.
Rhyme.
Now that we're live on video, it's a
so
little bit more awkward to
so
just talk.
stressful.
Isn't that what all that AI stuff is for? Just to come up with
Comes
one
up
every
with our
time.
rhymes for us.
Yeah.
I am fine. I got COVID for the first time in 3 years a couple days ago.
Yeah. Can we get a
So-
womp womp womp?
Can we get a womp womp? Womp womp womp. I think mine's better.
Oh, there it is.
Nice. Nice, that's awesome. But I slept for Tuesday and a little bit of Wednesday.
Slept for Tuesday.
And I went to work. I worked at home today because I have COVID, but I worked today and I made dinner, so I think I'm on the mend. I hope.
I hope so.
Are there still any kind of protocols that you have to follow with that? I mean,
Don't be an asshole and give everybody COVID.
just don't be an asshole.
Yeah, just don't. Be
That
an
should just
asshole.
be a good protocol for like anything. Just don't be an asshole.
Just don't be an asshole.
There's no
Yeah.
legal protocol for it.
No,
but
no legal protocol.
common sense, maybe.
Yeah. Well, what you should have been doing the whole time anyway, right?
Yeah.
Pete, what
We all
about you?
learned how to wash our hands again. Yay.
Hey.
Just been kind of busy. I had this awesome reunion of our my high school choir, which sounds like really lame, but it's actually kind of cool because it's quite the epic event. It was like 200 plus people, and more than half of them are like professional musicians now.
Wow.
So the director, this is his last year at that school. He's moving to Florida with his
Aw.
family. So he was like, dude, I've conducted like professional choirs and all these other crazy things, and he's like, this is one of the best things I've ever heard. He's like he couldn't believe it, and neither could we. Like, we're all sitting there singing, and he's like directing us. He's like crescendo, and it just got so loud, and he goes, oh. Like, this is awesome. So that was my weekend. Now I'm back to sanding furniture and sanding drywall mud and getting ready to paint a nursery.
Yeah. How's the baby prep going?
Busy.
Yep. How's Baby Watch?
It's going.
Baby watch.
We
watch 23.
We got this cool heart rate monitor. So we just checked him the other day. He was like,
That's awesome.
it was like
Science is
between
cool.
130, 140 BPM. Yeah, pretty sweet. Which
Rock
is
and
right in
roll.
line.
Yep.
You imitated that really well.
Thank you.
He's really good at sounds.
I can do sound effects.
He did the guy in Police Academy. He was very little.
Michael Winslow is a fraud. It was all Pete. All right, let's get to know our friend Mel, shall we? So Mel, you recently went on a trip to see the Phoenix Mercury home opener for a very special reason, which some of our loyal viewers and listeners may know. You were joined by more than 14,000 fans, which is nearly double the team's average for last season. So tell us about the trip and why it was so special, about the people you met, and what kind of emotional toll it took on everyone.
Okay. So the trip was actually pretty amazing. I guess in general, to be in the arena of your team would always be better than to not be. The whole vibe is different.
True.
The home opener was for Britney Griner's Welcome Home, back to the first game back here.
Yep.
That place was crazy. There was a line. I bumped into people in a funny way. I always, if I didn't know where something was, I would ask somebody, and they happened to not be from there either. And it just went that way. And it'd be from people
Wow.
from Texas, people from France, people from everywhere flew in for that game. It was great. They did this entire intro for her. It was absolutely meant to pull at your heartstrings. From the music to how they did everything. And I think it was just for anyone there who went there. It was just an amazing thing to see. As 8 months ago, that didn't seem like a likely thing.
Right.
So it was an incredible trip. I definitely would want to do that again. It was amazing.
Do you want to explain the chicken in the bar? Mel sent me a picture of a chicken in a bar she was drinking at.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
what
was
is that all
What are you
about?
even doing right now?
Which one? Oh my goodness, yes. I was waiting to leave, and I was just in the bar getting a drink, whatever. And the pigeon just walked into the bar, up to the bar, and I'm like,
What?
okay,
Wait, like a real chicken?
like no, like a pigeon.
Oh, a pigeon.
And I was
pigeon.
laughing. I was like, oh, another New Yorker, I see.
You're probably right. I don't
That's
know.
probably true.
Was it a fat pigeon? Because if it wasn't a fat pigeon, then it's not a New York pigeon, right?
Nah, he was skinny. He was skinny.
I love those
Skinny
Animaniacs pigeons.
Yes.
Yes.
The good pigeons.
Yes, those
They
were
were the
pretty
best.
sweet.
The good pigeons.
That reboot is also very awesome for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Like the original, like I would love to see it, but I don't know. Just
I did start rewatching.
I
some
never
old
watched
school
enough of it when it was
Animaniacs.
originally on.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, the
it's-
remake is more like for today's events. It makes
Yeah,
fun of new things.
somebody famous bought it. I want to say Steven Spielberg, but
Well, I think he already had the rights to it, didn't he?
I don't remember.
He was in it a lot, the first one.
Yeah, he was in the first one, right? And they talked about how he owned it.
There was for a while. I was in the mood of like restreaming some old cartoons, so I was watching like Tiny Toons and Animaniacs for a little while.
This is how the show goes, Melanie. We just kind of tangent.
Tangents.
Yeah.
It does
Tangents.
get slightly
Tangents,
Right.
top of tangents. Well, let's get back
tangential.
to
I
it.
can't even say it.
Did she play well? And has she been playing well
did.
this season?
She's been, she just bumped back a little. She got hurt Friday, but she was
I saw
number
that.
one in field goal percentage. She's been scoring about 27 points a game, 29 points a game, anywhere from 3 to 6 blocks a game.
WNBA has
Those-
nothing on Russian gulags.
No, she's done great considering. I thought maybe she might take the year off, but she has a little muscle atrophy. They said from not being able to stand in the cell, so she's regaining all of that. But she looked great.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool that, to take that much time even off from a professional sport and come back and play at a competitive level is just really an incredible feat.
Has to be hard, yeah. And they only have about a week or 2 weeks training camp,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're in there.
That's nuts.
And she wasn't like playing in other professional leagues for a while too. So
Well, she went to Russia to play, so she missed
Right.
a year in Russia
Right.
and the year here.
mm-hmm.
Right.
So she was just away for a year and not doing her regular scheduling and what
She was
she's
doing her
supposed
best
to do.
sports montage movie, right?
But that's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, thanks
A
for sharing.
movie is coming. No problem.
I don't doubt that. I don't.
Mel,
doubt
who
that
plays
at all.
her? Who plays her in the movie, or does she play herself?
Marion.
Marion.
Marion
Oh,
plays her in the
I
movie.
totally,
Hey.
Marion. I totally
Heck
see
yeah.
Marion's got the height. She can do it, and the basketball skills.
that. And the hair.
Amazing.
And the hair.
They should book it. Book it.
Yes.
Book it. Yo, we should be your agent. Marion, can I be your agent?
Oh, I think she's in. She's in. She
She's
just
in.
texted that she's in.
Melanie,
Rock and
or
roll.
Marion
I
in
love
chat
it.
says she's in. Awesome.
I love it. All right.
All right. So
On we go.
on to the next question. Actually, it's funny because one of these questions I thought I should say, but it's fine. So while we haven't known John as long as you've known him, and I've heard all about the games you went to, it's been a long time for all of us, but you've known him the longest. Yeah, so he's heard about all the games you went to, trips around sports venues in different states, like we were just talking about. What got you into sports as a kid, and what is your favorite, initial first sports memory?
As a kid, I guess I was in a residential, so I was in all the little league, the pee wee football. I was usually the only girl in the league, so I just got into it by accident, just something to do.
So more playing
And
rather than
then-
just watching.
If you couldn't tell,
Yeah.
Melanie was a real tough 12-year-old, by the way. Just
I
let you
believe
know.
I think my friend was a big Yankee fan, so I just kind of took that on at 7. And then I became really into basketball, 24/7. When I met John, actually.
Mm.
Yeah, we went a lot. We had
Yeah.
partial because the Knicks were still expensive because the Garden was expensive, but we had partial Nets
Nets.
season tickets. So we went to like 20 Nets games one year, and they were far. But like my family's from Jersey, so we were like, oh, drive across the bridge, whatever. So we did that a ton. We went to
Was
a ton
that
of
during
games.
the Derek Coleman days?
Yes, Coleman was
Yeah.
on the team. The Knicks
Kenny
were-
Anderson.
and it was
Kenny
when the Knicks were
Anderson,
good,
yeah.
and I think that's why Mom was doing it because we were both really obsessed with basketball and the Knicks were making a really strong playoff run, but you couldn't get into the Garden, but you could see them in Jersey, so you were like, close enough.
Yeah.
But those tickets allowed us to go to, like, in my opinion, the greatest draft pick in NBA history.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Kobe, Iverson, all of them. Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it was
Yeah,
at that arena.
It's like 5 Hall of Famers.
All of them.
Jesus, that's crazy.
I think my favorite sports memory is meeting Derek Jeter before he blew up. After as well, but mostly before. When he would play on the side, playing catch with Jerry Williams.
Oh,
He was always very personable.
that's super cool.
That's a pretty good sports memory.
Yeah.
You want to tell the story about Mom in Toronto?
I'd be so starstruck.
That was insane.
You tell them the story. We gotta get into the details.
We went to Toronto. This is how crazy. We went to Toronto for Yankee games. We went to
Actually,
Toronto.
2 stories in Toronto. You tell them
Someone has to go to Toronto to watch them, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They came out and got into a taxi, and our mom, she chased the taxi down until Mariano had to get out and give her the autograph just for her own safety, so she would stop chasing the cab.
Oh my god.
Nothing about that story surprises me.
Yeah. And so
And
this
we
is
went
the
to the
same
All-Star
trip.
game too.
Yeah. Did she meet Kevin Costner at that All-Star game?
That was that. Yes.
Oh, wow.
He gave her that box of chocolate that's still in the dining room. I had it so bad.
He had this tchotchke
Oh
of
my God.
the stadium out there that is passing my mind right now. Mile High Stadium, that's what it is. And he had this tchotchke of the stadium made in chocolate, and you open it, and it was a music box. And so
Whoa.
he was coming out of the gala for the All-Star game, and Mom was there, and Mel was there, and Mom and Mel did like crazy autographs, right, for a long, long time. And he was coming out, and Mom was like, "Oh my God, it's Kevin Costner!" And he hands her this tchotchke because he probably doesn't want it, right? And
I wouldn't want it.
and she took it home. It's been in the dining room for 30 years, straight up.
It's still, we opened it not that long ago. It's
You
still
did? It's
Take
amazing.
me out to the ball game.
Really?
Marion, does it
I
still
just want
play
to see
music?
if we need to throw that chocolate out, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it any good?
It looks fine, but
Okay, how about this? You should keep it like if you meet Kevin Costner again, then you need to eat it.
He blew up
no.
again, man. He's on Yellowstone. He doesn't want to talk to us.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he's popular.
Well, I mean,
again.
he was big when we saw him.
Pretty great
Yeah,
show,
no,
by the way. We're
He went
finally watching
down
it
and
now.
now you back up, right?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten
Yeah.
into Yellowstone yet.
I like it. It didn't hit me like Succession did. Like that one was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And then it was like 3 episodes in, Steph and I are like, okay. And
Listen, I have a
then
very
by
important
the end of
question.
season 1, we're just like, this could be the greatest show ever. But
And this is more for Stephanie.
Okay.
How are you watching a period piece?
no. Yellowstone is current.
It is?
Yeah, so there are spin-offs. The one with Harrison Ford is a period piece. That one is 1923, I think. And then
Oh, yeah.
I think there's like another one in the
Sure.
1800s even.
Yep.
So this one
That makes
is
sense.
modern, but
All right, I'll let it be.
yeah.
They look like they did when we went to Yellowstone, so it can't be that.
That is true.
Oh yeah.
All right, one more Toronto story. This same trip, all right? My
Mhm.
crazy Italian mother. Hi, Mom. She's walking down the stands, and we used to get really good seats when we went on these crazy trips. And so, we actually got this seat from a scalper. And you can, in Toronto, because everybody trusts everybody, you could scalp right in front of the ticket office. So the scalper just, bought a ticket, and we just walked down and closer and closer and closer. And this is what Mel said. Jeter's just playing catch on the sideline. And my mom's like, "Oh my God, Derek Jeter! We came from New York!" And he's like, "Hello, ma'am. How are you?"
That was an awesome impersonation of your mother, by the way.
That was.
Thank you. I know she likes it a lot. We're out of time. You heard my timer. 'Cause the timer in Discord isn't working.
Oh no.
Very Italian.
Okay.
It's fine. It's your question anyway.
John, should I
Enough,
bring
she
over? Should I bring over the times up sheet next time I'm
I think
over?
you should bring over
Oh
the
yes.
times up sheet.
Show
So
everyone
first
the times
two things.
up sheet.
I don't know if we mentioned it yet, because we talked about how Melanie's last name is not my last name.
This was the
Melanie
original
is my
timer.
sister.
Oh, it's
Melanie has
backwards
lived in
now.
my house since '93, and she's a really cool person. So I thought it would be fun for the listeners and for you to have some time to talk about your favorite John memories, good or bad. So what's the first thing that pops in your mind? Go.
The first thing is, I think the first day I met you, when you ran to the gate, because you don't move your arms when you run. And that always stood out to me, like, your arms did not move when you ran to the gate. I was like, who is this guy? And he's like, hey, I live here. Like, oh, okay.
I ran stupid when I was 12.
You didn't move you just ran. Well,
Like
you didn't
this?
move your arm. You didn't move your arms just stayed.
Oh, that's rough.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was odd.
That's rough.
I've
bro.
never seen it before. I haven't seen it since.
Melody, that is the perfect segue into the third question. Which, John, if you want to.
What's
You've
the
totally
third-
lost all of us, Pete.
What are you talking about, Pete?
No, no,
I thought
Why
you
don't you
were gonna say
ask?
something.
Why don't you ask? Because I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
no, you the our third question for Melanie.
That's what we're on right now.
You were on
yeah.
our third question for Melanie.
So never mind, guys.
I
brain
asked.
is-
I asked it, Pete.
yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
that's okay. It's okay.
Oh
You
my
were doing
gosh.
stuff all day. You're
No,
busy.
I was. I also ran today, and I'm sorry, live audience.
Don't be sorry.
This is my brain on Pete.
It's fine,
I
Pete.
mean-
We're just live. It's fine.
Yeah.
We talked about Baby Watch already. You have an excuse for at least
true.
3 years
Yeah.
for everything you do.
Hey.
All right, Mel. Any other John memories?
Yeah, I mean, most of our memories have to do with sports and
You can tell the garbage can story, Mel. It's okay.
playing them.
Garbage can story. That
Mel,
sounds
tell the
fun.
garbage can stories. That's what I
All
wanted
right,
you
let
to
me
tell.
tell you one.
That was
This
actually a
little tip.
suggestion from someone in the audience right now. The trash can story.
Yeah, we-
Marion.
Marion knows where I'm going.
We were playing basketball, and he cheated. He cheats,
I do
and
cheat.
so I got annoyed, and I started to walk away. And as I was walking away, he did a very cocky, annoying wave and smile at me. I was like, all right. And at that time, we had those very light aluminum trash cans. And I picked it up and I went to throw it at him, but it was so light, it like flew this way.
I told you, Mel was real tough.
He just looked at me, and Peter ran and hid under the car.
Hey, Peter. Peter did run under the car.
I was like,
That's
this
pretty
guy,
funny.
I'm gonna get his ass.
Yeah.
This guy.
I missed.
You miss those days?
Yeah.
I do too, man.
Yeah, those seemed like we
How
had
did
all
we
the
play
time in the world.
How did we
then.
play basketball on a gravel driveway? That's what I want to ask.
I don't know. That
I
was,
think we weren't bad.
Sounds
I think it
No,
was
we
like
were
an
good.
extra level
That
of
sounds
difficulty.
super hard.
That sounds
super
painful,
then
hard.
too.
when the driveway changed, we weren't good anymore. Did you
Is that
notice We
is
were
that why
having trouble.
Marion's really good at basketball? Because she played on a real basketball court.
She had actual pavement.
right. You guys got all used to the gravel. That was the problem.
We did. We figured out how to get through it,
Is
and
that
then
Garbage.
it's a clean driveway, and we didn't know how to dribble anymore. We're like, oh,
That's totally like the plot from a movie, though. It's like, there'd be in some film, and it's like this super team, and it's like stuck in this dramatic basketball game where if you lose, you die. But the field, the court is gravel, and you're like, I got this, and then you run in and save
I
the
just
day.
want to let you know, Pete. ChatGPT is writing that movie this week.
Yes,
Totally.
amazing.
we definitely would have had home court advantage, but nobody played on the driveway. And our hoop was crooked. It was tilted. The pole.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
Oh,
it was
man.
crooked. It was crooked. It was too high, way too high, at least 12 feet, right? And we had gravel. And then we both played CYO. So like we played a lot, right? And we were like, all right, we played 1-on-1 all the time. We played horse all the time.
2-on-1. We just
2-on-1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That makes you feel any better. Our basketball hoop, my dad built this custom pole and everything, thought it was super cool, got it all set up. And then we measured it and he's like, oh crap, I was half a foot off. It was a 9.5 foot. But what was awesome about that is that it was super dunkable because of that. So we could like dunk all the time.
You could wait.
What?
You could dunk on a 9.5 foot rim.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
dude, I could also high jump 6 feet in high school. Don't forget.
All right.
Don't you
Sir
remember
Caller
the? Don't you
now.
remember the?
He was superhuman.
Don't you remember the episode where Tim just talked about how many things I jumped over as a kid,
I mean, that's amazing.
including
but
people? Yeah,
I want to see you dunk.
I can't do it anymore, dude.
Does everybody want to see Pete dunk?
My knee is
I want to see Pete
destroyed.
dunk.
I can't dunk anymore.
We'll have to
Video
save that
never
for.
happened.
Snowbounds.
We'll have to save that for a
so we
future
can-
episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
All right. Thanks, Melanie. Well,
All right.
let's say we get started, everyone, shall we?
Yeah.
All right, so the WNBA's first season was in June of 1997, and this year is its 27th season. Now, it came off of a stellar performance of the women's dream team in the Summer Olympics of 96, and with big names like Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie, and Cheryl Swoops. Now, there are 12 teams and include a big media deal with ESPN and ABC, which announced that last season was its most viewed in the last 16 years. So this year, thus far, it's experienced a lift in average attendance, but still well below its peak in 1998, when, believe it or not, there were an average of 11,000 fans per game. Now, there were only 8 teams back then, but still, it was a big push after the Summer Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone, how do we feel the WNBA is doing after all these years, and where will it go?
I mean, we've been talking about market share and sports, like from the amount of people that watch it, and the amount of money it can make, more money, bigger, nicer stadiums, better players. I mean, the whole thing. It's all connected, right? And I think that all signs point to up.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
I hope so.
Have said on the you have said on the podcast. I think it's in a way it's a cleaner game. More finesse, less power, right? I mean, it all kind of comes together, and they play
It's
it
a truer
little
form of
differently.
basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
More fundamental, I think.
Yep. And I would certainly love to see a big expansion. I will say this: listen, NBA games, the cost to go to an NBA game is just astronomical now, and it's only going to get worse. And I love just watching basketball. Hell, I'll go to like an AAU game of 8-year-olds playing and watch that game. But I would love to much rather see professionals play the game. And while the Connecticut Sun is, Mohegan is like a 45-minute drive away from me. I'm a Boston sports guy, so I would love there to be a WNBA team in Boston. We'll see what that.
I think Boston, Philly, and Canada would bring in.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be good expansion teams.
Yeah, Toronto.
They sold out in the
definitely,
Canada.
They tried in
this year.
Canada.
They played the Chicago Sky played Canada this year. They sold out.
The national team, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've seen the facilities that the Aces play in. The Aces facilities are baller.
They have the best facilities. They sell out
Yeah.
their games.
Yeah, and they make a ton of money.
Almost sold
They
out.
have the best. They have the best attendance in all the NBA or WNBA.
Mhm.
And the wife of my new tight end plays on the Aces.
Kelsey Plum.
Darren Waller's wife is an ace.
Oh, yeah,
Kelsey
yeah,
Plum?
right.
Yep, Chelsea Plum.
Kelsey,
I forgot
right?
about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kelsey Plum. So now she's going to be spending a lot of time in New York, which means she's probably going to join Liberty. So yay.
Mm. You're like,
They're doing their super teams now. So.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's what they do in basketball.
How-
Actually,
How
I'm
good are the
mistaken. The
Liberty
Seattle
right now?
Storm actually have a higher average than the Las Vegas Aces.
Does Macklemore own a piece of the Storm as well?
He does actually.
He does. That's amazing.
Yeah.
He owns a piece of the Kraken and a
I
piece
think-
of the Storm.
Yeah, I think he just wants to own every single Seattle sports team.
I think he does. Well, I mean, he's making a ton of money and diversifying is smart. So, and no one has ever thought that Macklemore was not a smart man. He's just like, oh, you want me to give you all my money? Nah, I'm gonna self-produce. It's fine. I can handle it. And he's like,
Better that
oh,
way.
self-producing is going very well.
Yeah.
Let's get into sports. Apparently, he does halftime shows on the Zamboni for the Kraken game sometimes.
wait, like he drives it?
Yeah, he drives it and he raps.
Ha! That's amazing.
Isn't it incredible?
That is very cool.
Yeah, we need to find some YouTube videos.
Yes.
What do you think, Mel?
I think they're doing a lot better this year. Like I said, they sold out different. I think Mystics sold out their game the other day. Sunday's game, I'm going to that game. It's sold out on the bottom half. They have some upper level seats left. Their attendance seems to go, and I think also too it's the marketing, like you said. So now that ESPN picked them up and CBS picked them up, it's they have to be marketed better, and I think that's one of their major issues. They're not marketed correctly.
And that's the one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing that the NBA and the NFL do really well is marketing and marketing their players as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of room I think, for the women's game to grow, obviously, and they definitely could, especially with Boston from South Carolina, Aaliyah Boston. I mean, she's just a superstar in the making, I think, and they could definitely push her for like her own shoe. Ionesco, who's on.
I think she has one.
She does.
She
I think
does.
she has
But then
one.
they need to market
I
that.
want to say Adidas, but I'm not sure.
They
Are
need
the
to
Cavinder
market.
twins interested in playing pro? I mean, the Cavinder twins are social media famous. They don't need to play pro anymore.
You're right. They don't need to. They don't need to.
But they
We'll
could.
see. They could.
Yeah.
They could.
They
We'll
need,
see.
but
Although
like
the college players make more money than the
I know.
NBA players,
Yeah,
so they stay for the 5th year.
Name,
The
image,
Cavinder
and
twins,
likeness.
they had the opportunity to play a 5th year because of the COVID rule, and they chose not to.
Also, I don't think they were drafted either. So.
Oh.
No.
No, I mean, they
okay,
could have just
so-
played another year of college.
Right. No. Yeah.
Well, but they had other things going on.
Yeah, they're their social media empire.
But
Any more games to plan to see this year, Mel?
I'm going to Sunday's game this coming Sunday in New York. I'm probably going to go to a game in Atlanta when I visit my brother, and I believe we're going to
Mark wants
August.
to come with us.
I do actually. When you guys go to Mohegan, I'll join you.
Yeah, I think it's the 31st, August 31st.
Okay.
Cool. Is that one of the closest ones to us, by the way? Like where are the teams? What cities are the teams in? Like, I don't really know the whole league like you guys do.
I mean, New York is definitely closer for you guys.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be the closest.
I mean, the city's far.
Yeah.
The other one is
Mohegan
Connecticut.
Sun is 3 hours. New York City is 3 hours. Everything's 3 hours.
Yeah. Need the Albany team now that the Albany Empire is toast.
Oh,
I know, sad.
sad panda.
That didn't take long.
It was nice to have a semi-professional sports team for a year.
Yeah.
No, actually, like 3 years. AB had that team for 6 months.
Was it
and
even?
They have been asked to leave the Arena Football League. No
Yeah,
joke.
Really?
Yeah, it's
they have been
pretty
asked
bad.
to leave.
So Tom Grady doesn't have a job anymore.
Tom Grady's
I don't think he plays for the
out,
team
yeah.
anymore. Yeah, but he doesn't. Yeah. All our plans.
Tom Grady, we would love to have you on this podcast. By the way,
Tom Grady, if you're listening,
Yeah.
we want you.
Oh,
What do you want to say?
we need the inside
You're
scoop.
talking about somebody else. I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You're talking about the other guy.
All right,
no.
I think we
Tom Grady.
Yeah.
are. But we'll have Tom Brady too. He's looking for work.
I mean,
I
right?
was going to say, I think he owns part of some team, doesn't he?
The Raiders, I think.
Yeah,
that sounds
Yep.
right.
Vegas. Because I mean,
The Las Vegas Raiders.
why not?
All right, I think we are out of time, everyone.
Let's move on.
I didn't see Pete's time's up sign.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the time.
But in his defense, I'm also not looking at him. So.
And it's also mirrored, so it says like.
Well, I can see it. I can see it straight. That was beautiful. Oh,
I
do we have a
couldn't
next
get rid of that
topic?
one.
Do we have a next topic?
We
know.
can press the next topic button unless we want Mel to do one.
Yeah, Mel, just say like. I don't know if you've heard the show, but we'll usually do like a silly like next topic or like next topic or like.
You don't want me to do that. Somebody else do that.
Just be like, yo, next topic. I don't know.
That's tough.
That is a truth fact.
Sorry. I've been waiting to use it. All right, we're going to do this one.
Hey, I'm sorry about that next topic there, Mr. McD.
All right, so to keep it on the WNBA, the first NBA teams to fly privately for road trips used VCRs to watch game tape during the flights. It was the 41st season in NBA history when the Pistons owner, William Davidson, purchased a private plane for $2.5 million ahead of the 87-88 season, and four-time All-Star Bill Laimbeer brought barbecue to share on an 18-minute plane ride to Cleveland. 2 decades later, Laimbeer is flying commercial while being the head coach of the WNBA's best team, Las Vegas Aces. So I bring this up because this week, Britney Griner was harassed on her way to a game flight by a social media personality. This has caused the WNBA to reevaluate their rules and approve chartering flights for Griner and her team. How has it taken so long for the WNBA to start talking about this obvious safety measure for professional athletes?
I mean, money, right? There's only so much money to go around with the WNBA, so there were certain things that the women weren't really accustomed to that definitely their male counterparts are used to, like charter flights. And it's mainly because of money. Now, there are, I did hear about this. I don't really know if this is true or not. The Las Vegas Aces are potentially in violation of the collective bargaining agreement because of all kind of these extra perks that they've been getting with like charter flights. Because now I'm not 100% sure if that's true or accurate. But I mean, it's not really fair, like for these players to like, have to fly coach in order to get to these games.
Doesn't seem right for
They
professional
say
athletes.
they say it's a fairness rule. They don't want another team whose owner has more money to have the advantage. So you have a team that's traveled regular, and then a team that used charter and is more rested.
Damn.
That's what they say.
Do they?
I mean, I bring up Lane Beer as an example because he literally recently told the story of getting his whole team getting waitlisted on a flight, them not being able to find a place to eat or a hotel to stay in, and is literally just like him and 25 women who are professional athletes are just like sitting at the airport.
Olympians.
Right. Yeah. Olympians, right? Really special people.
That's ridiculous.
I know, like the NBA was annoyed. Some of those players offered to pay. It was an on thing. They had a donation for $75 million that they were going to use at the beginning of the season for the Griner situation. Britney actually has always had access this entire season to charter flights. She had just chose to travel with the team. I think now the entire team is going to get a charter flight because that was just insane.
Good.
No, I mean,
that
just
like,
like
they're getting it now at least. Should have before.
Don't click on the video because the video is clickbait, but just a pain in the ass internet personality is just literally harassing her and trolling her in the airport. Ugh. And so, I mean, the thing is, right? People want their 15 minutes. People are crazy and dangerous. And so having these semi-celebrities just out about in the world is just a bad decision.
Absolutely. And you know what? To me, I understand the whole fairness thing, but with stuff like that, this is stuff that would maybe entice your other players to come to that team because an owner wants to spend money on them and take care of them. It's like, come on, why aren't all owners doing that? Like they should be.
Find them.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that would encourage other owners to actually do that, or maybe find other owners that are willing to do that personally. Yeah. Like, come on.
I mean, I just envision all the bad sports movies I watched in the 90s where like teams are on like rickety old buses with like a crazy driver with weird hair and just like it's crazy to me.
It's like
there was one good one. It's called The Goon with Sean William Scott. You should watch that movie. It's about a minor league hockey enforcer. It's so good.
I could see him playing that part pretty well.
It's so good.
So back to the WNBA for a second. I have a question on how their league's structured. Like, you were saying that some owners could maybe afford it, but some can't. And out of fairness, they're saying lowest common denominator. Do they not share revenue into the league, like for team earnings, like the same way, like say the NFL does?
Yeah, well, I guess technically there's no team earnings.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I guess because they're still in debt.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're not really. There's no real revenue coming in for that. They have ways they can do it. They tried to avoid it. I think now they have no option.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they can't exactly just be like, hey, I mean, be nice. Like, hey, super rich owners, can you chip in a little bit more? But that's tough, though. If right when the end product isn't going into the black yet.
I mean, you see how easy is a rough word, but I mean, it is very profitable to run a sports franchise in Las Vegas because everyone in Las Vegas is looking to do something fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, the glitz and glamour you can do with pregame, and like we've seen the Golden Knights and now the Raiders with the giant black thing like off the freeway there, like.
I mean, I've heard that
pretty cool.
The intro show. I haven't seen Golden Knights game home, obviously, but I heard the intro show is really amazing, super impressive.
I've seen some videos of it. It's pretty awesome.
I think that they put on sports like Las Vegas, so that's the reason why they make a lot of money. And like we said in the beginning, money breeds everything, right?
Yeah. And there's no WNBA team in Vegas yet?
Oh, there is.
Okay.
The best team, the champion.
So that's the Aces. Yeah, right.
The Las Vegas Aces.
Yep.
And
Hence,
if you look at
hence
their
why
facility,
they're having all the
God,
money and why they're doing so
Yeah.
well.
Their facility is crazy.
You gotta spend
Yeah.
money to make money, right? Come on.
that's true.
Yeah. Well,
Just
they
treat the
need to
players better.
advertise.
Treat the players better.
They misused the entire NCAA. That was a good time to advertise.
Oh,
from that entire,
absolutely.
And
And
what
they-
a good women's tournament
Right.
this year. My God. We're out of time.
They dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
The players are so personable too. Like they're not. You can walk
Yeah.
up to them. They'll
Yeah.
talk to you, whatever. So it would make it really easy for an idiot.
That
to
Final
walk
Four
up.
that Final Four matchup between South Carolina and Iowa was perfect.
Yeah,
I
that was
think,
crazy.
You're
It's a
perfect.
shame that wasn't the
Mark.
final. Aren't I? We're all perfect. Aw.
All right, we're out.
All right. Rolling. Whoosh. Get that next topic rolling. Whoosh. I don't know. It was dumb.
I'm keeping that one. I'm keeping
It was
that
really
one.
dumb. I'm sorry.
No, it was amazing. It was as amazing as this.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Nothing is as amazing as Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. That's gonna be on my tombstone.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Ukko-Pekka.
Amazing. I'm into it.
All right. So congratulations go out to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who recently won the most recent NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. This hits home for Bostonians as the head coach of the team from Sin City used to be the head coach of the Bruins until he was unceremoniously fired last season. Clearly an excellent decision by Bruins management. Yes, last season.
Good thing they weren't gonna. Good thing they didn't have the most prolific offensive season and losing the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So the NHL is notoriously known for having their coaches on short leashes. Overall, 6 got fired this past season, including last year's Coach of the Year winner, Daryl Suter, and another former Stanley Cup winner in Peter Laviolette. I hope I pronounced that right, because I've had a little scotch.
Laviolette. It's like one.
I've had a little scotch. That's my excuse.
Just say
You
it
guys
faster.
keep saying it. Just keep saying
Laviolette.
it.
Yeah, say it really
Ukko-Pekka
fast, Mark,
Luukkonen.
and then it works.
Ukko-Pekka
Or just
Luukkonen.
call him Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. That's fine too.
Of course, it's definitely just not the NHL, as we've discussed on this show multiple times. So everyone, why are franchises not more loyal to their coaches?
Because they can't fire the team, the millionaires. It's
They're
okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're the
Well,
ultimate fall people, right?
they're the ultimate fall people. I mean, you have a team. Every sport has this. You have teams and teams of divas, right? And you don't want to give up your $50 million guy. And so who do you fire? Well, you fire the guy who was in charge. Because really, I mean, there's part of an explanation that you should, because he has mismanaged them. And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But it's also just really easy. You look like you're doing something. You have a little motion. You have all your breadwinners are still there. Baseball does it all the time. Football does it all the time.
I think it's,
NHL's worse than NFL, believe it or
it
not.
is, yeah. And I mean, for both leagues,
I
like
gotta watch that.
expectations never go down, right? You're always,
Yeah.
they always go up, and that kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, you win a cup final or you win a Super Bowl, guess what? Ownership is going to expect you to do that every season from then on. And the second you don't, get out of here. We're moving in a different
That's true.
direction.
Again, Daryl Suter, Coach of the Year last year, and he gets fired this year.
That's hockey
And
is.
Bruce
They have a hard job too.
I am so mad that Bruce Cassidy got fired, and it's just ultimate payback that he just comes back the very next year and wins the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And the Bruins don't.
old.
Be
old
smarter,
guard
Don
and-
Sweeney.
Yeah. There's a lot of very old dinosaurish kind of management strategies in the NHL that just will not go away, and the GM isn't helping, or it's just,
It's almost like it's being run by rich white men.
but like old rich white men that just don't like change.
So all
So,
of them.
like
Sorry,
the
Dad.
polar opposite of like the NBA, or like, where they have an awesome commissioner who seems to be very progressive with like adding new tournaments or trying new things, trying anything to make the game more exciting. But the NHL is the opposite. It is stuck in like the 1980s.
Well, they have tried with they made the goalie pads a little smaller, and they allowed the 2-line passes now. I mean, goal scoring was definitely up this year, without a question.
It has gotten better in the last year or two, yes, for sure. It is a more exciting product again. I don't know how much of that was thanks to the commissioner. Yeah, like you said, a couple rules did change things. I think players are just getting better too, which thankfully is helping.
Oh, absolutely, faster,
Yeah.
and quicker, and stronger.
Oh yeah.
But I think we learned And I'm going to have some insight on hockey, so get ready for it.
Ooh, okay.
But I think we learned from this season that the two most prolific offenses in hockey didn't make it to the finals.
No.
I mean,
No.
the Bruins weren't there, the Oilers weren't there, and they definitely scored the most points.
Playoffs
by
are
far.
brutal in the NHL, though. It's a war of attrition, and you can have the best offense the whole year, and then realize, oh crap, we put it all out there for 82 games, and we just don't have enough in the tank to go another potentially
was McDavid gassed? I didn't watch the
30
playoffs
games.
obviously because I don't like hockey, but was McDavid gassed in the playoffs?
No, I don't think he was.
But it's not even just up to
I
him,
don't think
right?
he was.
Your
it was
whole
only the
team,
second round they got bounced out.
Yeah,
So.
you've got 4 lines of forwards and 3 lines of defensemen that need to be at the top of their game at all
I know
times.
I don't watch it,
but
I know how it works.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 weak links out of that whole roster, and that's it. You're fucked.
So out of the
Sorry, I couldn't think of a better way to say it.
that needs to be a new soundbite. So there was a study in 2016 that looked at the 4 major professional sports in the U.S. and the English Premier League. Out of all 5 of them, the NHL actually had the second lowest average tenure for NHL for coaches. Guess which one had the lowest? Believe it or not,
Tell us.
English Premier League. Now, what's
sense.
very interesting, yeah, so they're a little bit more fickle than the NHL.
And
NFL,
incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
NFL, believe it or
Actually,
not,
I can
had
see
the
that,
highest. NFL had the highest average tenure, believe it or not.
Really? Well, that's probably brought up by a couple of people that have just never left, like Pete Carroll and
true.
Belichick,
I mean,
who've been coaches forever.
But you think about it though, like you're not allowed to lose in Arsenal or Man U. You're just not allowed.
No.
It's not acceptable.
And
So
if
they
you-
had the widest gap. You've either been with a team for 20 years or 1 year. So
Not acceptable to lose.
Well, I mean-
learned that from Ted Lasso.
Plus, those teams get regulated, right? So it's like you have more on the line. Like you could get kicked out of the league if you're not good enough. So
Right.
that's a very
Getting
volatile
relegated
job.
is a big deal
Yeah.
because it's a financial hit.
I really wish that our professional teams actually took on like that. So maybe there wouldn't be, the Kansas City Royals that just suck every single year.
Didn't we win like 8 years ago?
2015, I think it was.
Like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I
How'd I
know.
pull that
And now
out
they
of my
stink.
ass?
Damn, that's
Now
pretty
they
good.
stink.
They're so bad, Pete. They're
All
so
these small
bad.
market teams need to do better.
We just don't know if they're worse than the Athletics, but the Athletics are tooling a major league this year, so they're just tanking on purpose. You see, they had a counter protest, so like 20,000 people showed up last night,
Really?
but only 4,000 showed up the night before.
Oh no.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, they were selling shirts, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were selling shirts.
They were selling shirts. Our friend Scott, hey, if you're listening, he used to say he used to go to athletic games for $5 when he used to fly home.
That's
$5. I want to go
wow.
see baseball for $5.
Seriously.
yeah. That's like going to like the Valley
Those
Cats
days
right
are
here,
over.
like double
Cheaper.
A.
It's cheaper,
Cheaper than
the Valley
double A
Cats.
baseball. Yeah, that's pretty good.
The Valley Cats don't have an A, by the way. They are like the National League in.
Oh, I thought they were double A.
In,
Okay.
In soccer, no, there are no A's.
0
Negative
A's. Okay.
I think they also only play 7 innings, like a little league game.
Oh, they're in the independent league
Well,
now.
because, I mean,
Yeah,
they
that's
are
the
then.
one.
You look, you need time for the fireworks at the end of the show or at the
I
end
mean,
of the game.
obviously,
I mean,
You
who,
called
who
it a
needs those 2
show.
innings?
You're adorable. We're at time, and that's a good end.
All right, what do we got?
If we had more sound bites, you should definitely do another one that says you're adorable.
Oh, I want to. It is time for the next topic, okay? I think we have so many good ones right now that I don't even need to do them during anymore.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I just read, and I was actually impressed with this. 6 of the biggest professional sports unions in the country teamed up last month to bring attention to mental health awareness. The NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, MLS, and WNBA started a campaign to raise awareness about the cause and invest resources to improve mental health for the pro athlete community. So 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. experience a mental health related issue each year, and athletes have not been exempt. Star Cowboys QB Dak Prescott opened up recently about his depression in 2020 following the death of his brother and his mother. With a high stress, high expectation lifestyle, many of the league's coaches are beginning to realize that mental health needs to be a priority, just as much of a priority as physical health. So how can player unions help their athletes succeed? Money aside, do you think that being a professional athlete is high stress.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Extremely. Because, I mean, it's beyond the field, too, right? You're looked at as a role model for all, like, you know, millions of kids
A
that
lot of
look up
pressure.
to you. Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Media's in your face all the time. Like, that's...
Yeah. You got to watch everything you do.
Yeah. It's like, it is being a celebrity, right? You never have any privacy.
I mean, going back to Ted Lasso, I think Ted Lasso did a great job of showing like the mental health aspect of being a professional athlete, or just being involved in professional
that's
sports.
The best part about that show.
Yeah.
The best part about that show is its way it is attacking mental health.
And they definitely lean
Absolutely.
on it hard. Now, don't spoil the end, because Steph and I are a couple episodes back, because she, as a weird pregnancy side effect, she has an aversion to the show Ted Lasso for
Don't say it.
some reason.
What?
Oh, sorry.
What?
I don't know.
Don't say it.
But it's true. She's doing better, but
That's good. That's
we
good.
so we found if we watch it in the mornings, then we can get through it. Don't ask.
Ted Lasso
Oh no,
breakfast?
Steph.
And so, I mean, I read, just looking for this topic, I read a lot of interesting, sad articles. There was a defensive end in a recent draft who was drafted in the first round, who just didn't feel like he was living up to his like potential. And so there's like a whole lost potential conversation, and it made him feel suicidal. And I just think mental health in general is so important to be kind
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
to kind of understand like the things that I struggle with. Like I struggle with anxiety, and I struggle with just being like very type A, very OCD, and that all is anxiety, right? But understanding it and talking to Mel about it, who is all very, very helpful. My Melanie, well, but they're both my Melanies, but my wife Melanie, not my sister Melanie. But it's just, I think that being able to accept it is really the first step to getting through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just
I
need
think with
someone to talk to,
athletes
right?
too. I think with athletes too is that you have to remember, like, they get an abrupt awakening when the industry is done with them. They get
Oh
discarded,
right, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and
Very
that's
true.
a whole different thing for them.
That's a really good point, Mel. I mean, we
Right,
talk
how do
about,
you-
we talk a lot about like what does the stress that Tua Tagovailoa must be under deciding whether or not he should continue to play football, right?
Yeah.
Because what does he do if he's not playing football? He hasn't made enough money to be, lifetime generationally wealthy yet. I mean,
No,
he's made a
not-
lot of money.
Still
but he
on his
has not
rookie
made
contract,
enough
isn't he?
money. Right, he's still on his rookie contract, and if he gets
Yeah.
through to his, we also talk about how much those second contracts are worth, and that's family changing money, right?
Oh yeah.
And chances are people are depending on them.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know.
Well, that's another
Right.
thing.
That's
I think
another pressure about it
sometimes.
too, right? Yeah, you made the NFL.
Good,
like,
a good
what-
and a bad thing is now
what-
all of a sudden you have all this
Right.
money and people always like, oh, well, you could invest in this business for me now, but that's
Yeah.
another story.
Hey, remember me, your long lost fifth cousin?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Ballers on HBO?
Nope.
I haven't.
No, I was going to though.
So
Is it even
Ballers-
still on HBO?
I don't think
on,
it is.
Is it on Max?
I don't know if they
Oh.
did their whole we're dropping shows to save money thing, but if they haven't, watch it. Short story: The Rock is an ex-pro football player who hurts himself. He doesn't hurt himself; he retires, but he goes out.
So he's the Rock.
So, but he's
Yeah.
right. He's The Rock, and so he.
Let's face it, he's the Rock in everything he does.
Yes, he's The Rock and everything he does. He goes and he becomes a financial
anything
planner
wrong
for
with
pro athletes, and he gets hired by this investment firm, and he's telling all these kids where to invest their money, how not to throw their money away. And this whole story, and the reason I bring it up is because it talks about entourages and, using your money wisely and using your money not wisely. I think it does a really good job. He had the backing of a lot of pro football players, like probably his friends. So Victor Cruz was on it. A lot of athletes got on it. What's his face? Dominic Sue was on it, right? Anyway,
Ooh, I just did a quick check. Ballers is on Max.
nice. You should watch it.
Another angle of this, to swing it back to mental health. The other aspect of it, like you said, right, there's physical health as well, and there's kind of a physical and mental aspect combined, which is like, especially in the NFL with CTE. I mean, do they have, even when people aren't in concussion protocol and stuff, like I feel like there should be part of like NFL physicals and stuff, like monitoring for that kind of thing, right? Just like, hey, how are these players' brains doing? Like, you're under so much emotional and mental health stress, but
not well.
I know, right? But that's another area
They
where
should.
I think,
I don't know if they do.
because like, can you imagine all the stress and pressure we've just talked about with like literal brain damage on top of that? It just makes it that much harder, I'm sure, to deal with this. It's like, oh my God, I can't imagine
Antonio
going
Brown
through all
doesn't
that.
have if Antonio Brown doesn't have a CT, I don't know what he has. I mean, not to talk out of school, but he literally got up one day and was crazy. I mean, just like,
some people point to a really, really brutal hit he took while still in Pittsburgh that they think was the cause. And I mean, I'd be willing to bet almost every player has at least some degree of it by the time they're out, if they're in the NFL for a number of years. And
especially those hits.
insane.
I mean, I think like the no man's land across the middle. I mean, that's where you get murdered.
Not as much anymore, but man, yeah, you remember those '90s wide receivers and like Andre Reed, Michael Irvin.
That's where you go to die.
Those two would get pummeled over the middle
This is the kill
all the
box,
time.
Jerry.
Yep.
Yeah, a rock reference. You love it. I saw you recognize it. And we're at time.
It always goes back to The Rock.
The Rock playing the Rock.
Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Wait, one more.
That is a truth fact.
There we go. That's my favorite. I literally editing last week's episode. That was in last week's episode. Editing it, I was like, I'm saving it.
So now I think
Oh
for the podcast edit, you need to put that soundbite in the actual podcast.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Good idea.
There you go.
So our next topic, John, you're going to be so proud of me. I have
I am.
actually 2 non-sports questions this week.
Amazing.
Ooh.
And we're going to, one of the
Normally my job.
Yeah. The very first one has to do with something that we've been going on and on for a little while now, AI. So there are multiple studies published lately utilizing artificial intelligence to detect
You want to know what's
signs-
great? I didn't write an AI question. Look at that.
Wow, synergy. That's not synergy.
Yes, it is.
All right. There are multiple studies published lately utilizing artificial intelligence to detect signs of possible breast cancer. Current methods factor in a bunch of things like age, family history, ethnicity, and breast density. AI utilizes what they call biomarkers that pinpoint certain areas on mammograms. According to a recent study by Kaiser Permanente, AI was able to determine a 5-year risk of breast cancer being 25% more accurate than standard methods today.
Wow.
So everyone, how do we feel about AI being able to detect breast cancer and other forms of cancer?
I mean, you guys know my feeling on bleeding edge technology and artificial
It's
intelligence.
the future.
It's the future. I mean, and that's what we're doing, right? We're getting better at everything as a species.
That seems like a way better application for AI than like, having a chat bot that's like telling people to break up with their like significant others.
It only happened once, and they turned its personality down.
Right.
I mean, with these studies, do we feel like there's going to be a bunch of early adopters, or are people going to kind of stick it to the same old thing?
I mean, if it
Well,
works.
they're already using machines, so it just sounds like they're going to use better machines.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It sounds
will-
like just the next step, right?
I will
Right.
clarify
I like
this.
that-
So
I like that
the AI is making like suggestions, but it's an actual doctor still has to kind of look at things with the study. So we're not getting rid of doctors.
Okay,
But
yeah.
they're just trying to this is a lot faster than other kind of the normal things that they do now, and they've kind of proven it's a little bit more accurate as well.
I mean, as I'd like to do, if we push technology like this out until it's perfect, right? Use the Pete 100% man method, right? If they worked on it long enough and they made it great, right? Exactly. We have something that has a near limitless knowledge base that you can converse with, and so if you can converse with, and not saying we say whatever it says is law, but if it knows everything about cancer, and we say, what do these pictures look like? And they say, well, that looks like cancer. Then you can pretty certain that it is, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's great.
Well, right, yeah, with enough database. As a tool,
Right.
fantastic. As long as it doesn't turn into like all of us going to like WebMD now with AI, ourselves.
Surgibot 3000. I mean, that is
Yes.
going to honestly happen, though.
That
right?
totally sounds
Right.
like the human condition right there. We're totally gonna go to the extremes, and yeah, AI is gonna think a
There's a
simple.
Terminator movie coming.
Sorry, your
Skynet.
laptop does not meet the minimum
That's-
system requirements for accurate diagnosis.
For
No, it's
Surgerybot
just-
3000.
Someone's gonna see a pimple and they're gonna think it's like something else.
Mark, can one of the
no.
hashtags be Surgerybot 3000? Amazing. I love it. I'm gonna cough again because I have an itchy throat.
But yeah, honestly,
I mean,
this
if
is
it proves accurate, they should use it.
yeah. That's been my argument the whole time. AI, if used as just another tool that, like Mark said, a doctor has the final say on, they're using it as a consultant. Okay, fantastic. You still have somebody that's been through medical school who's a human being that can help make that final call. And I think that's a great,
as we have been
that's a great
saying
way
over-
to implement it.
Yeah, no, I agree. As we've been saying over and
Especially
over
with
and
things
over
like
again.
cancer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. What do you got to lose at
You
that
want to
point?
get that as quick as possible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Right. If it can save a life or like save a breast, whatever, like where without this,
Hashtag.
hashtag save a breast, use AI. But
We're
like,
not using that hashtag.
no, but I mean, right. That's a great thing.
Well, their regular one is save the tatas. Like their
Save the
cancer
There you go,
one.
yeah.
Tatas.
That's a much better one.
Save the
Um,
tatas
that
now
they're-
with AI.
I think, and what I was going to say is, I think that, and we've been talking about it nonstop about a lot of different topics on the podcast, is we should think about the ethical treatment of everything. I mean, AI used ethically, I think, is a very, very useful tool. And personally, I love ChatGPT. I use it all the time. Granted, I'm not in charge of anything terribly important.
as a fun
But-
tool that writes stories about our super cool lacrosse team on our website.
And not
it's
even
fantastic.
that. Like, I mean, really, as a tool to fill in the website, as a tool to do things in my daily life, it's very convenient.
Mm.
So a little bit more details about this study. Overall, they had a sample size of about 324,000 women that had no signs of breast cancer either currently or historically in 2016. Of those 324,000, about almost 4,600 of them got diagnosed with breast cancer within the next 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
And the study compared them against about 13,000 women that did not end up developing cancer. So that's how they did kind of like a control group versus a, how this AI was able to detect and whatever like that. And they said, again, 25% more accurate.
So use it.
Word.
They should, right? As of right now, so the news story that I saw this on, Houston Methodist right now is using it abundantly right now. But you're right. There's it should be utilized probably a lot more. I would imagine there's going to be a large upfront cost, but they are saying that in the long run it's going to be cheaper.
I would hope so. And I mean, as far as like, this isn't like a drug that needs very specific FDA approvals. Like, I'd imagine this would be fast tracked into mainstream practice pretty quickly as long as it's proven right.
Keep in mind, there's still a lot of people that don't trust AI.
Yeah.
They don't trust the robot overlords.
They watched Terminator 2.
I trust them. We're at time, guys.
Fantastic.
Time.
All right, Melanie, what do you got? You can even just say like next topic in the most boring way possible.
Next topic.
It's not boring at
That's my
all.
thing.
That was cool.
Next topic, guys. There you
Oh,
go.
that's much better.
Excellent.
Very good. And so, because I can't say this question, we have to say it. Nikola Jokic capped off a historic NBA playoff run Monday night, leading the Nuggets to a 94-89 victory and a first-ever championship title. After 47 seasons and a final game of defense-heavy, poorly shot basketball, the wait is over. Jokic led all players across the playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists at 30, 13.5, and 9.5, respectively. With the playoffs over, Jokic was asked at a press conference if he was excited about the parade on today, and his answer was simple: "No, I need to go home."
That was
Yes,
good.
I'm with that.
And so, after one of the greatest performances in playoff history, what is our thoughts about Jokic just wanting to go home to Serbia, and just why were the Nuggets so good this year?
I think basketball is his hobby.
Yeah, not not his life, I guess. He just
Right.
happens to be really good at it.
Right.
I mean, Jokic is arguably the best player in the NBA right now. Some people are saying best player in the world. Not 100% convinced on that one.
Points, rebounds, assists stat. He is the 5th most overall of all players ever.
Wow.
I mean, he's phenomenally skilled. I mean, he's right now a player that can't be guarded with the current archetype of the NBA player because the NBA has gotten rid of its centers, right? And he's a 7-footer that can shoot, he can pass,
strong.
he can rebound. I mean,
because he's Serbian.
I mean, there's a reason why they were the best team in the NBA, and it really wasn't just him. They were an amazing team. Jamal Murray was a phenomenal, number 2, and they had some great role players as well. And Aaron Gordon too. Aaron Gordon with somewhat of a resurgence. They had essentially 2 centers in their starting lineup.
Right.
Again, no
and poor 6'9" Bam was just like, I just can't.
Exactly.
I just can't.
I am hoping that this might be the beginning of the resurgence of the big man in the NBA. And with Victor Wembanyama also coming next year.
Oh, yeah?
I am hoping that more teams have 2 bigs. When I watched the Celtics play, I thought their best lineup was when they had Robert Williams and Al Horford, again, 2 bigs, on the floor at the same time. But for whatever reason, they just decided they just wanted to shoot threes all day. But you had, especially against the Heat, that had a very small Bam Adebayo, and they should have taken advantage of the fact that
I agree.
of that. Come on,
have a game plan for that, yo.
I think
Bam is
they may have
scrappy, he's strong, but he's
underestimated
only 6'9", right?
Nuggets.
And he's listed at 6'9". He's listed at 6'9".
That's very possible too.
I mean, I would have never in any year would have told you the Nuggets were the next championship. But I think a lot of people underestimated them, including the people that played them.
Yeah,
and that was a mistake.
Absolutely.
I mean,
they will be figured out you underestimated them. It was too late.
Yeah,
but they'll be a marked team next year. And
you
know, because the media just loves to talk about this kind of stuff. Now they're all talking about dynasty, and I forget. I think it might have been Murray that said like, "Yeah, we're going to be a dynasty." It's like, okay, it's easy to say that after you've won championship, but it's a little premature for that kind of talk, especially in the free agent market.
Yeah.
And so many things can happen with trade deadlines. I mean, come on, let's pump the brakes a little bit on this dynasty talk. Why don't you win another championship before
I was going to say, wait till you get your second one down.
Yeah. They trade them a lot more now, I think. And then all of them, they're very arrogant like that immediately. Even when they don't win, they just say the craziest thing.
I blame the media for that because they're the ones asking them the question. Come on.
Yeah.
What are they supposed to say? No, I don't think we're going to win every championship.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I forgot who did the interview, but it was an interview for the WNBA, and they asked another player who looked up to Diana Taurasi if they were starstruck, on the court. So how do you answer that without sounding like a lunatic?
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I was just excited to be here. But it's like you can't be playing people and be like, yeah, I was totally starstruck.
Right.
You're like, I only grew up watching her.
You can't answer the question.
You know, I only became a basketball player because of her.
Right. Right. But
to me,
like
Diana Taurasi is the ultimate winner of all professional sports. Now, I think some might argue, especially on the women's side, Sue Bird might be a little bit better than her. But I totally agree with Mel. Taurasi is a winner.
Tell me why.
I mean, she's won.
I mean, I know why, but.
And Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 gold medals?
I think more than that.
Do you think it's more than that?
I think Britney has 2, so Taurasi has more.
Okay. And, I mean, she was a huge winner at UConn. She's won championships at the WNBA.
5.
Exactly.
She's going to hit 10,000 points this year.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I don't know
who's catching up to that and when, but it'll be
She's still a firecracker. Mel just sent me a video of her, lipping off.
She's 41.
I was just going to ask how old she is. 41.
I know.
That's amazing.
I'm ashamed.
Do you think this is her last year, Mel?
Not if they. Well, I don't think they're going to win. If they win, I would say yeah, but no. I think she'll be back at least one more if they don't win.
She's chasing another title, you think, before she walks off into
Yeah.
the
Oh,
sunset?
absolutely.
I think she might have retired too. But they were throwing this thing around that she was waiting for Britney to come back.
Her wife is taller
Yeah.
than her.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, her wife's 6'1".
Diana's not small. Oh yeah, but Diana's like 6'6", 6'1".
Okay.
Diana's 6 foot. I just looked that up. I was curious.
She just doesn't look that tall.
No,
Gotcha.
on the
she
TV.
doesn't.
And their pictures are so cute.
I mean, compared to like people that are way tall, like basketball's insane. Just how tall these people are.
Well, yeah, we're saying that Bam, who is listed as 6'9", is short.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama is going to be covering him next year, and he's 7'10".
I mean,
I would kill to be listed as 6'9".
It's insane.
Crazy.
7'10". I mean, and like I watched the video. Kid can shoot.
He's quick
Yeah.
too, though. He's not just.
He's quick.
How
Like,
can you be 7'10"?
He still
and
needs
be
to put on a
quick?
little weight.
Just
He's
No, he's gonna get his ass-
He's not 7'10".
He slouches down and then he's out.
But he's a skinny little dude though,
Okay.
so he's gonna put on a little weight, or he's gonna get manhandled in WNBA or the NBA. Excuse me.
Oh my God, he's 7'2", 209.
He's 7'2".
I almost weigh more than him.
God. Yeah, no, that's an
Ooh,
injury waiting
wow.
to
He
happen.
needs to
or
put on
several
weight.
injuries, right?
He's young though. He
He's
has,
19.
He's
Oh,
time
yeah.
to put the weight
He'll
on.
fill out for sure.
Yeah.
The video I watched, he literally drove the ball. He stepped back. He did a fadeaway jumper from like 30 feet and switched
Yeah,
it.
and he can shoot too.
Damn.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah,
That's why-
he's going to score 1,000,000 points.
That's why people are really excited to see him play for the Spurs next year.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Greg Popovich, who I believe is going to get signed to a big extension, and they're actually thinking that Pop might play or might coach a few more years now that he's got like a franchise player to go with him.
And we're way over.
You're way over.
I know I am. What?
It's all
All right,
good.
What do
What do we got
we
next?
what are we gonna ask? What are we gonna ask? Actually, we'll ask this one. And so I had a talk with Jamie today, actually, about unfairness in kickball calls, but I thought that this was relevant. And so the MLB season is almost at the halfway point, and with a number of noted miscalled balls and strikes, as well as websites dedicated to umpire scores and accuracy, the call for robot umpires amongst the fans is in full swing. For as long as there's been baseball fans have been unhappy about called balls and strikes, and the ones I disagree with. And so what are our thoughts about the upswing for robot umpires? Is learning an umpire just part of the game, or do you think baseball...
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's going to happen. Will be improved by
like
balls
a-
and strikes.
They're doing it in minor league baseball right now.
Mhm.
I am not a fan of robot umps. I think human umpiring and officiating is a part of the game. And yes,
Yeah.
while I might complain about a call here or there, I think it's still part of the game. And in the grand scheme of things, umpires really, or officials and umpires, they're not really determining like the final outcome of a season. Like, come on.
Yeah, there's so many
a game
games
here or there,
in,
yes.
in MLB. It's
Now there are other exceptions. There
Mhm.
are the exception, like the pass interference call against the Saints, or the Rams, or rather.
NFL, yeah, but I mean that, yeah.
There are some exceptions, but in the grand scheme of things, I think human officiating is all part of the game.
Definitely baseball.
So if anybody's curious, there
Besides,
in
what
this
player
action...
wants to fight with the robot? Players like to argue with them there.
They do.
Roll out
Again,
and kick
that's all
the
part of the
shit
game
out
too.
That is true.
I mean, so I grew up being a pitcher, and getting to know what an umpire's strike zone is a part of pitching.
Mhm.
Like I
Yeah.
don't think I don't like there. Yes, there's what the strike zone is supposed to be, but it's kind of an art form having to deal with the strike zone in a
I
human
think it
umpire.
takes a bit of the strategy away from it,
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
right?
right,
If
that's part of the film study.
Got-
Is like, let's look at what this umpire is called, right? I would imagine that would be part of your game prep.
Well, it's even more. There's like parts of pitching that is a little bit mind game,
Mhm.
and so like you'll pitch high and inside,
Like framing
so
a
that you
pitch, right?
but that
Yeah.
you can so that you can pitch low and away. And when you pitch low and away, and it cuts through the strike zone ever so, like really aggressively, like an aggressive slider that cuts through the strike zone,
Mhm.
it might land out But, your catcher's supposed to pull that shit back in. And so if it's called, it looks like a strike, but maybe it wasn't. And it gets swung at, and maybe it just gets missed. And there's so much of that in baseball.
There's an art to it.
Yeah, for
absolutely,
sure.
So you
absolutely.
think, right, like robots would eliminate some of that cool nuance.
Well, honestly, it's going to make hitting get better.
Yeah,
it is. If the batters know exactly where the ball's going to be, they're going to hit more baseballs because they're also professionals.
right.
Do you think baseball wants that?
Yes,
Probably.
No?
I do. I mean, you can only throw to first base twice now. That's the most ridiculous rule, by the way. But stolen bases are exciting.
Here's what I actually think.
That's a new rule.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
new
whole season.
this
Only
year,
twice.
That's one of the new rules. That's one of the new rules.
Okay.
I personally think that one of the best things about baseball is having people complain about the umpires. Like
that is kind of fun.
That's
right?
like half the chatter in
Yeah.
baseball. Like Dave Martinez, the coach of the Nationals, like he went to this press conference. So the Nationals potentially lost the game because the ball hit the runner, but Dave Martinez was saying that the runner was out of the baseline, and he brought a picture to a press conference proving that the guy was not in the baseline.
That's awesome.
Personally, when I look at the replay, I think, listen, if he's out of the baseline, everyone is out of the baseline because he was doing the same line that everyone runs to first base.
Yeah,
Everyone.
man.
It was certainly entertaining to watch, though.
Yeah.
I would crack up.
So,
But
Mark,
how do
know
you get a robot ump to call that?
I mean, do the robot umps just call balls and strikes though? I mean, how can you get a robot ump to call
what are they doing in the minor
like
leagues
a foul
or
ball
in
or
college and
baseline
stuff?
infraction?
But
or
that's
anything
kind
like
of where people want to go, right? They want like a black and white rule book or black and white calls with.
There's never been
with
perfect
everything.
calls in any professional sport. ever.
No,
I mean,
no.
if you're gonna do that, you may as well have it like the second that any player like steps a millimeter off the line, there's like some kind of microchip in their shoes, and all of a sudden, like the
I
whole
mean, right,
stadium
everything
turns
has to
red.
be smart device,
It's like,
which you can probably do. But
That
Mark,
sounds
have you
boring.
heard about or
Yeah.
gone to umpirescorecards.com, which is actually
No.
apparently, and I've never learned about it. Apparently, it is birthed from a Twitter algorithm, and so every game.
I mean, Angel Hernandez is the worst.
Every game gets mathematically averaged. Umps get a scorecard based on their performance about missed balls and missed strikes. And you can just look. You can look how good they did or how bad they did.
More
I
to
already
argue
know.
with
I already
that.
know Angel Hernandez is the worst. He likes to call strikes that are like 3 feet off the plate.
Oof. But is it like a big dip, like to that guy between the worst and the best, or is it not too bad?
I don't know if they actually, and I discovered it because it was referenced in an article I read, but I don't know if they actually talk about the umpires, the best umpires. There we go. We're going to look at that. There we go. We're going to look at percentage.
I will say, so one of the things that has been that people have noticed this year with a lot of the younger umpires, they have a shorter fuse, so people have been thrown out a little bit quicker than anticipated.
Ooh,
I
because,
also read
you know-
another stat that some of the umpires or some of the parks specifically are very pitch clock like heavy.
Mhm, mhm.
So a lot of people, some people are calling the pitch clock more, and some people are calling the pitch clock less. But I mean, again, right? The game has to be different everywhere, and that's part of baseball. And I agree with you, Mark. I think that is the right way to go. And we are at time.
And we are out of time.
Jamie was so mad that she disagreed with the call today, and she
Oh.
literally told me, and it was so cute. She was just like, "Well, I think the player should be able to, say whether or not they were safe." I'm like, "Most players do, babe. Most players do."
They all say they're safe every time.
It's like nobody in jail is guilty, right?
Oh, that's so cute. She's learning how to like yell at
She's so
officials at
competitive now. I'm
sports.
so proud. I'm
It's
so proud of
awesome.
her. She was talking trash. It was amazing.
Amazing.
All right,
Yeah,
my next
that's
topic.
technical.
My next topic, I was actually saving for the last topic, but it kind of goes with your topic, so we're going to talk
Nice.
about it.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
So while watching the news, I saw that one New Jersey township is trying to enforce a new rule with unruly parents at kids' Little League games.
Love it.
This rule states that if anyone in the crowd starts a fight with an umpire, then they have to volunteer to umpire for at least 3 upcoming games, and they are kicked off the fields until they do so.
Ooh.
Now, I have personally witnessed multiple adults go crazy over officiating. And yes, I've witnessed some fights over it as well. So, everyone, how do you feel about this rule, and what should cities do to fight against abrasive parents at their kids' games?
I don't think that rule is going to work.
It's pretty fun.
I'm not doing it.
It's all
I
about
don't want to.
perspective, though. I understand why they want to do it. It's all about perspective because, if you're yelling at someone and then all of a sudden you step in their shoes and you're getting yelled at, you kind of get a little bit of perspective and maybe get a little bit, a little bit more down to earth.
But if the parent is already yelling, what makes you think they're not going to yell back? Somebody else yells at them. They're already doing it.
Yeah, well, they already think that their kid's on the way to the MLB. So
All of them.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you, Little League. I was good at Little League.
Scotty's on the bench, but he's going full.
Could you imagine your
reasonable at Babe
mom?
Ruth, too.
Could you imagine getting your mom in a fight though with an umpire?
No.
But there are parents that do that.
There was one time, that not in Little League, but there was one time that Dad got into a fight at Yankee Stadium because someone spilled a beer on me.
God.
You remember that, Mo?
Yeah, that was.
He was so aggressive. It was so he never gets mad at anything. He was just like very mad.
Mom was literally yelling for security.
I gotta tell you,
It's so funny.
So I officiate in a lot of the
awesome.
leagues that I participate in, and I do it because I'm pretty knowledgeable of the sport and I know what the rules are. I remain impartial, but there are just people, this is it. They just get so intense, and they just don't agree with you. And I've had people get in my face. It's like for over a call that I made. It's like, come on,
yeah, that's so stupid.
Come on.
Yeah.
I think
what are we doing?
Especially in Little League, I think it's important to teach these parents who are off their chains a little humility. And because really, when it comes down to it, their kids are watching. And
Absolutely.
Kids have to be embarrassed. I'd be
Oh my
embarrassed.
God, yeah.
yeah, they have to be embarrassed. And so they're watching and they're embarrassed. And if you maybe
Or
teach
they
a little
think
bit-
that's how the world works and that's what they're
Right.
supposed to do.
Right. And it's bad lessons all around. So, I mean, to teach these parents a little humility, I think in a way that sort of benefits the league, I think that's a real appropriate rule change. I mean, it's a little hacky, right? Because it'll never happen. But I think that in general, the nature of it is very smart.
But what else is the league supposed to do?
Well, they don't have security, huh? In the
Of course
little,
not.
little
Of course
leagues or
not.
whatever.
Of course
I
not.
mean,
There's no money
you know,
there.
No.
I think that unruly parents definitely don't get invited. I mean, I think a lot of the big communities around Little League Baseball definitely do that. Ones with their snack bars and
Some self-policing and stuff.
Yeah, it's just self-policing.
Right.
Oh, you're on this list where you can't come to
Right.
4 games or something, right? I think.
How does that stop the behavior though? If they get banned for like 4 games and then they come back, are they really going to stop the behavior?
I mean, they're missing their kids' baseball games.
They're probably
Yeah.
going to be banned indefinitely at a certain point.
And,
I was going to say, escalated
you get like
punishment,
one
right?
game for one escalated punishment until you get banned indefinitely.
And then you got to
Oh my
explain
God.
to your kid why you couldn't control yourself.
Yeah, and then you got to
watch the game.
speak to your kid why you couldn't control yourself. I think that is more. I think that'll affect change more.
Yeah, I could see that, right? When your kid disapproves of the parent, it's like, oof.
Right.
That really.
I apologize for laughing. I just saw something in the chat. Apparently, Pete, someone thinks that Pete is going to be a very unruly father because of how he reacts at Bills games.
Oh no.
That's amazing.
Can't imagine who
I'm
that
not
was.
going to say who said that.
Steph, you're probably right.
Probably Steph.
I could totally see Pete get thrown out of a game.
Pete's being banned from games now. Can't even go to the play.
I agree with you guys. I think the intent of this rule is again, teach them humility, get them a little bit perspective, but it's probably not going to stick. Unfortunately.
Well, they don't sound, they sound unhinged to begin with. So,
Ooh.
do you really want them to be the
Let's not start with that, Melanie.
Do you want them to be the ump? I wouldn't.
So something else, there's supposed to be like an actual umpire that's been trained that's supposed to be there to make sure that they're doing their job as an umpire and being impartial. So that's like another whole like part of this, right? It's like, come on.
Because it'll all just go perfectly well.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. So I promise.
That's how that works.
I promise Steph here, and you guys all see it. It's there in writing in the chat. I will try to behave in front of my kid during Bill's games. It's not going to be easy.
Only during Bill's games?
Well, that's usually when I'm the most angry.
He said tries. Let's a scapegoat for
You will like me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
Pick a better team.
All right.
Hey, they're pretty good.
And we're at time.
Damn. Shots
We've
fired.
been going a scotch over. And
But that was the
Marcus
hot
said that
take
he
I've been
wants to
looking
keep-
for.
He wants to hot take. Nice.
Yep.
Wants to keep the show nice and tight.
All right, let's move on then. Sorry.
This has led me to my next topic.
Hey, baby. Do you want a next topic?
It's been a somewhat rocky week in Buffalo Bills minicamp regarding superstar Stephon Diggs and aforementioned Pete's favorite player.
I have his jersey.
On Tuesday
should've
after
worn it
practice,
today.
when asked, Coach Mike McDermott said that he was very concerned about Diggs' absence. Diggs was at practice again on Wednesday, caught some balls from Josh Allen, met with the new wide receiver coach as well as the young receivers, and had generally a normal day. And so my question is, what are our thoughts about the change in tone from Mike McDermott and the early absence of Stephon Diggs with regards to his disappointment at the end of last season? Or is this just sports writers trying to find a story at the beginning of a football season? Or before the beginning of a football season, even?
I defer to the Buffalo Bills fan.
Huh. It's a little bit of both. So there's definitely something that's gone on.
I agree.
They say it's resolved. I'd say it's resolved for now, right? You can't just, if it was something that big that caused and supposedly an excused absence, like Sean McDermott did say that the absence, like he checked in on the first day of camp, did the physicals, did everything right, and then was told, yeah, Steph, thanks for the correction there, real time. That's what we got chat for. But I don't know. I think there's definitely something going on, but on the same token, media has exaggerated it even further. Like, I mean, how many Good Morning Football like table rounds are talking about how many teams he's looking at going to now, and it's like, where are you getting this? Like,
I mean, it's literally all that was on NFL Talk this week.
Like,
I mean,
dude,
not all, but like one of the main topics that Stephon Diggs just build on a minicamp.
They cannot trade him, so that's not happening.
No, he's not getting traded.
This is as close to like a family issue as it is, because it's like, you know, family can fight all they want. They're stuck. They're still family. They're stuck together. They got to work it out.
I mean, they haven't found the solution yet. D-Hop isn't on the team yet, so figure it out, guys.
And he won't be. He's going to be a Patriot.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard those rumors too. Yeah, I don't think it's fully resolved, but at least it's resolved for now. It's gotten to where Diggs is back to work. I think as we go on through the season, it'll kind of be like whatever beef Diggs has, which I have some ideas.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, Pete. Is this about money or is this about philosophy?
It's not money. He's got a huge He's making $22 million a year. He's fine.
I mean, is
He's
it about
a bunch of
the
guaranteed
fact
money?
that they haven't won yet? I mean,
that's
and
exactly
they've been
it.
knocking on the door,
No.
and they just can't put it home.
He said it himself during the it was an interview, I think during the Pro Bowl stuff.
God, how this is going.
And he's like, dude, we have all the talent. We have like the facilities. We have the plays. We have everything. What the hell's wrong? Why haven't we won? And
Head coach.
yeah, that's well, people are now saying that they most likely think it was the coordinator, which yes, Ken Dorsey was a quarterback coach, and just became a head offensive coordinator this year. He's brand new to it. You can be sure some very snazzy veteran defensive coordinators and another head coaches threw the kitchen sink, everything but the kitchen sink at him to try to throw him off his game. And I think it worked towards the end of the season. I think they figured him out.
Towards the end of the season, it didn't seem like they were that hard to defend against.
Yeah.
No,
everyone knew what they were going to do.
Even Mark and I knew, and we're not defensive coordinators.
Now, another thing Diggs said in a different interview was that he said the first 9 weeks or so, they had their shit together. And then after that, he said something changed with the play calling too.
Yeah.
And
Four
literally
verticals.
watch his right, but watch Diggs's numbers go down.
Yeah.
Too, right? Fewer
'Cause he was
targets.
just running deep routes.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, yes,
That sounds
they're
like a coaching issue.
they're good at them
Absolutely.
when they're mixed up with different things. So I think he had issues with McDermott, potentially maybe personal issues with Josh. I don't know. I can't. I don't want to project anything that isn't there. I've heard some rumors about things that are not football related, and Josh Allen himself said so in a press conference. He said the issue is not football related. So I thought that was interesting.
So they're talking about an issue openly, though.
Yes. They talked about it all day. The day that Diggs wasn't at practice, he was in the facility, and they talked before and after practice at length.
I mean, the word's very
with
concerned. and
McDermott
was the
being
reason I brought it up.
probably Allen as well in a room with Diggs and worked up.
Yeah, they'll probably work it out. They'll probably definitely work it out. But I mean, I will say this: so the addition of Damian Harris, who is a legit running back,
It's good pickup there. Yeah.
is going to be interesting because one of the things that Buffalo has been really ridiculed of has been the lack of a run game.
It's been
Like,
efficient.
everyone-
They just haven't
everyone
done it
knew-
enough.
They have exactly. Everyone knew it's like, oh, Buffalo's going to pass it. Like
Yeah.
70% of the time, Buffalo's going to pass it. They're just going to play the pass, and
Well, I mean, KC
they'll
does
just
that.
deal with whatever yards that they do.
Yeah, KC does that too, but I think the difference is,
no. Casey did it a little bit. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco definitely was an up and coming running back, so they did run the ball a little more. Plus, they had this the jet sweeps with Sky Moore.
Yep. In the playoffs, and I mean, the Bills used to have that too with McKenzie. That was a thing. I mean, Josh running too is ridiculous, but it can't all be on him. And I think you're right. A lot of I think a bulk of the load of the Bills running game needs to transition to let's see what James Cook can do. You know?
Yeah.
And he's got a smash mouth player in Harris to back him up. And Naheem Hines.
I really hate that Harris is a Bill now. I really hate that.
I think it's a good fit.
I don't know if it's a good fit, but
I thought he was a good Patriot too. Like I thought he fit well with the Patriots in his time there.
And time.
All right.
It's so quiet.
You want to do it?
He's talking about the Bills.
Melanie's like, I'm out. Checked out of this one. It's fine.
Talk about Caesar.
I got one ready.
Yep.
All I heard was bad coaching in that entire conversation.
I see the next topic.
And it's the final topic.
It doesn't know it's the next topic.
That is very good.
So we're going to talk about something that's I'm very excited about with regards to the future. It's getting a lot closer as autonomous or driverless cars are starting to make more headlines. Now, Waymo, which is owned by Google, is starting to make headway in the Phoenix and San Francisco markets and have logged over 1 million miles with these driverless vehicles. It does seem to always make headlines, however, when one of these vehicles crashes or malfunctions. But in a lot of respects, it's a lot less frequent than regular human beings driving. So, everyone, how much closer is society to driverless vehicles?
I mean, for a while there, Carmack left his company to do it. It was the software engineering golden egg to go to a company to figure out a way to effectively map roads for driverless cars. And
it's a big deal.
I mean, when you think about it, I love this topic, by the way, Mark. Thank you.
I figured you would.
When you think about it, whoever gets there first, right? If Uber gets there first, if Waymo gets there first, if Lyft gets there first,
Google
they can
even
just print money.
Yeah.
Google even. I mean, it's a money print. Like, you remember the scene from iRobot where he calls the car and the car just comes and gets him, puts him in the little super fast lane. He does, he reads his paper. I read an article that cars in the future, they're not even going to need windows, right? They're not even going to need lights because they're going to be, you could have internal screens that you can make opaque and you can put stuff up on them. You can do your news. I mean, it's just going to change the way we process as a race, I think. Are we almost there? Well, I think camera technology is a little bit off. Right now, A lot of the accidents, the big accident that killed that woman on that bridge, if you look at, and someone did die from a driverless car accident. Actually, a lot of people have. But this woman
Not
got
as
run
much
over.
as regular cars. Come on.
Sure. But the camera feed was very bad.
Yeah.
And sure, she came out of nowhere, but I mean, it has to know that, right? And so there was also apparently the ride along, the human didn't notice, and so they didn't stop the car. There was another accident with Tesla where two assholes were in the back of their Tesla, dead in the back of their Tesla after it crashed. They're like, well, why are you both in the back of the car? Because Tesla definitely doesn't approve that, right? So did you hack your car? Like, what are you doing?
And that's my whole point. That's the whole thing that I don't like about autonomous and driverless cars. The fact that a lot of the accidents and a lot of the things that are happening are from people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like they're like so autonomous cars are following the rules of the road, but the overwhelming majority of people that are on the road are not following the rules. So of course, yes, something is going to happen because this one vehicle
I'm not
is
necessarily
trying
sure
to.
That's a good argument, Mark.
I think it's a very good argument. Like, keep it. All right. Wait. So
let's see where this
a few
goes.
years ago, it was I forget, was it a Lyft or an Uber in Arizona? Yes. While the person that was supposed to be monitoring the car wasn't paying attention, she was on her phone or whatever like that. They hit a pedestrian crossing the road. That pedestrian.
It's the person who died in Arizona. Crossing the bridge in the dark.
No, not crossing a bridge. This was crossing the street. But this was a portion of the street that, a person wasn't supposed to be crossing at the time. There was, pedestrians, they're supposed to follow rules too and whatnot. Like, they're supposed to, be in a crosswalk and otherwise it's jaywalking. Of course they don't do that. Most humans do not do that.
I mean, Mark,
but there's a set of rules. No, John, listen to me. There's a set of rules that you're supposed to follow, right? And a computer is only smart enough as the rules that it knows it's supposed to follow. So if all these other objects or entities are not following the rules, what the hell is the robot supposed to do?
I still think I don't think that tracks, because if you ran somebody over,
a human will go around the other human.
Like, if you ran somebody over and you didn't see them, you would still get arrested, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
You would still get charged with manslaughter.
But that's the problem. That's the problem with AI or in cars and whatever like that. Right. They're supposed to follow the rules, but we have to hold them to a higher standard that they have to also account for all these other. I mean,
I think that in some respects
they should.
They need to be programmed to be able to react like a human would in that situation. Where sometimes, I mean, I know, and Pete knows. I was in the car with Pete when he did it once. Sometimes you have to make a dumb move to make a smarter move, right? Like, you're on the highway.
Oh, the geese.
But you have to make that dumb move because someone made a stupider move.
No, like, you're on the highway going 70 miles an hour. 70 miles an hour.
Sounds like reckless driving, guys.
And it's either kill 3 geese or die. Pete chose to kill 3 geese.
I think I just killed one of them, but it was very dead.
I will say this. In my JB Hunt days,
it was that crashed into other cars next to me.
Exactly.
Behind me.
And in my JB Hunt days, when it came to an animal versus a car, you had to kill the animal.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that I don't think is a programmable. I mean, I guess it is.
It is,
but then you're judging.
Well, you have to teach the AI to understand what an animal is.
But then you're teaching AI to judge life in situations, and that gets very dangerous.
Yeah.
And we're out of time.
Sounds like a glitch.
Man,
a glitch in the Matrix.
I didn't think I'd have to relive the goose on the highway incident.
Always.
You're a murderer.
I appreciate you. Pete.
I had less than 2 seconds.
We will talk about this topic again, by the way.
70, 75 miles an hour. There was a car on my right in my blind spot, a car right behind me. I'm in the left lane, and geese suddenly start crossing the road. What could I do?
So real quick, how many years do you think we are away from society moving to autonomous vehicles?
So many. Because
really?
People,
like 20?
No, I'd say 10.
I think people hate change.
They do
really hate change, and they don't
trust
but
I think they already have the technology. It's just the people they have to sell it to.
To be honest,
it's going to mature faster every year too. Yeah, I agree.
Look up any video on the Tesla Summon mode. It is completely fantastically awesome. It literally, there's videos on YouTube, all over YouTube, where it's, somebody's sitting at a Ruby Tuesdays and they press a button and their Tesla comes and picks them up.
Yeah, but I do agree with Mark though that, and John kind of coursing this too, is that it needs to be a higher standard than ourselves, which is, when it gets there.
Well,
in some respects, not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it needs to be held to the same standards as a human in driving, and if you kill someone, it is your fault. It is not their fault.
Yeah, who paid? That's an insurance thing too. It's like, is the car going to pay insurance? Like the company that made the software, that they get.
Sure.
That'll
happen.
be.
I mean, in the number of incidents with the ride-alongs for Waymo, in the cities that have approved driverless taxis, and there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
Most of the situations, the ride-along human was at fault. They weren't paying attention because their job was really, really easy.
Yeah.
All right. Did we do it?
Mark, I
do
think
it.
we're done. Did you do 5? Because I did 5.
Yeah, but I started. No, how did you do 5? No, I started. And I just did my 5th topic.
Well, I have 5 check marks. 1, 2, 3.
There's no way you
4.
did 5 topics.
Yeah.
Because I started and I just did my 5th topic.
I think you did too many.
No, I only write out 5 topics for each show.
I only have 2 topics left, and I wrote 7. That's how math works. That's how math works.
Did
Mark.
you do 2 topics in one or something?
No.
I'm telling you right now.
I think you're wrong.
I
I can do another topic if you'd like, but then I only have 1 question next week, and that makes me sad.
All right. Well, we're at time anyway. So, are you ready, Pete?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So that has been our 10 or 9 topics. Well,
It's
who
10.
knows?
We go to the tape.
We would like to thank our guest for joining us this week. Thank you, Mel.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Mel. Love
Thank you.
Please follow or like us on our socials at IfTheseBallsPod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Our website is www.iftheseballscouldtalkpod.com, where you can see our sports news of the day, our AI story hour, or you can talk to us through Discord. So this is Mark Pesci, and for my partner John Campania and producer Pete Steffen, that's what we feel they would say if these balls could talk. Bye, everyone.
Night, everybody.
No.
If these